neighborhood, don't we?
Anything you say, Caramia.
But next week, the Sunday film is The Lion in Winter. Peter O'Toole stars as Henry II, and Katharine Hepburn turns in an Oscar-winning performance as the embittered and vengeful Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine in this spectacular historical drama which unfolds on BBC1 next Sunday at 7:15.
Tomorrow night, Royal Birthday at the Ballet. BBC outside broadcast cameras will be at the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden, to join the royal family as they celebrate the 80th birthday of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. The Royal Ballet gives a gala performance which includes Massine's Mamselle en Go with music by Lecoq. Royal Birthday at the Ballet, tomorrow night at 9:45 on BBC1.
And that programme replaces the Monday film Paper Moon, which can now be seen on Saturday, September the 13th. Well, now we return to this evening, and in 30 minutes, Buxton 1913 is the title of part 1 of the award-winning serial based on the autobiography of Vera Brittain, Testament of Youth. First, we introduce a young American comedian playing in his first series of 4 comedy shows on BBC1, Kelly Monteith.
Now, originally, that scene had a lot more violence when the cop couldn't get the key from the attendant. But as I told the BBC, you'll never see sex and violence on my show. Oh, you might see it in my home, but you'll never see it on my show. Which brings me right to who I am and why I'm here. To begin with, I'm Kelly Monteith. I want to clear that up right away because I'm sure the majority of the British public is going, Kelly who? Kelly Monteith? Who's she? And secondly, I was worried about that, you see, when the BBC invited me to do this show, because I thought, well, firstly, nobody will know who I am. Secondly, how would they react to an American comedian? Because that's what I do. I'm a comedian. And you get weird reactions when you tell people that. Some people don't believe me. What do you do? I'm a comedian. You're a comedian? You're a comedian? Well, you don't look like a comedian. What's my day off? Some people don't like comedians. I found that out the hard way. My first job in Las Vegas was with the Osmond brothers. Now, Las Vegas, I'm sure you've heard about it. It's a pretty loose town. A lot of gambling, a lot of drinking, a lot of nudity on stage. But working with the Osmond brothers, now they told me, they said, now look, if you're gonna work with us, you gotta work clean. I mean, there's no sexual references and no cursing on stage, which I didn't mind, really didn't bother me. Oh, I thought the urine test after every show was a bit heavy. But I realized I have an image to sustain, you see. But now their audience is mostly little girls. You get these audience, girls about 11, 12, 13, 14. That's the whole front part of the audience, see. Now, girls that age, they just hate comedians. They hate them. I'd see it every night. I'd come out on stage, they'd sit there, oh, God, a comedian. You're gonna sit there with a comedian. And everything I'd say, oh, gross. It's so gross. Comedian. I think that's why some people don't like comedians. It's that word, comedian, see? Because it's got kind of a negative image. I mean, it's always been used as a put-down. I remember that when I was growing up. If something happened in the classroom, that's always the first thing the teacher'd say. All right, who's the comedian? Make a joke your first day on a job, see what your boss says. 10 million people out of work, and I get a comedian. That's why it's so hard for me to get things like a loan from a bank, you see? It's really hard that way, because I put occupation comedian. Now, when they see that, they think twice, because, I mean, lend money to a guy that acts silly for a living? What if I defaulted? Poor guy that okayed the loan, they drag him up in front of his bosses. Now, let's see here, Hargrove. Bought this loan for $15,000 that defaulted that you lent here to a Mr. Kelly Monteith. Occupation comedian. Comedian? You lent $15,000 to a comedian? Because what the hell are you, Hargrove? Some kind of comedian? So sometimes it can be a liability. It's the only word that really describes what I do, though. Comic, now that's okay, I guess. That's just a derivative of the word comedian. Humorist and satirist, I never liked those terms. You know, they're a little elite for me. Buffoon, that's another one I never liked, you know? Sounds like I'm not all there. You know? How long have you been a buffoon? Oh, all my life, I guess. Started out as a nitwit, worked my way up to a stooge. And now I'm a full-fledged buffoon. Entertainer, I never liked that word either. That covers anything from a call girl to a politician. It's not specific. So